Hi, my name is Nathan Simmons. I'm with Colonial Life in Longview, and we're going to be coming out on the 17th of August to set you guys up with some supplemental benefits. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know how that works, but basically, if something were to happen, we put money back in your pockets. It doesn't go to the doctor, it doesn't go to the hospital, it goes directly to you, and you use the money how you need to. All right, now, one thing I want to make sure that you guys do is make sure you guys thank Tony and the Human Resources Department for allowing us to come out and see you all because they saw the cost savings that we were going to be able to provide you guys for those of you that have AFLAC and even if you don't have a policy. So make sure you thank them all. All right, now, I know you all have your own health insurance, but that's exactly why we do what we do and why we're coming out is just last year the leading cause of bankruptcy in America was due to medical bills. And what's crazy is of those people, 78% of them had health insurance, which tells me one thing. Health insurance is not the end-all, be-all that we think it is. Okay, well, that's because health insurance is like a block of Swiss cheese. There's a ton of holes in it, all right? And we're going to help you fill those holes. Now, let's say you have great health insurance, $0 deductible, which we know doesn't exist anymore, but let's say it did. Okay, so now if something were to happen to you, you wouldn't know anything to the doctor or the hospital, but let's say whatever happened put you at the house for 2.5 months. Okay, would you all agree that 82% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck? Absolutely, I'm one of them. Okay, so now that same person that's got great health insurance is still up a creek just because they're sitting at the house for only 2.5 months. Well, that's going to be the first thing you're going to be able to look at is how to protect your paycheck. Something that a lot of people don't even think about doing or even realize that you can do. To me, it's the biggest asset you have is the ability to earn a paycheck. A lot of people think your biggest asset is your house, but in my eyes, you have to earn a paycheck to be able to pay for the house in the first place. Okay, now, as Americans, we do a great job of over-insuring ourselves. I've got insurance on everything. It feels like, TV, cell phone, house, car, it feels like everything. But to put it in perspective as to, would I ever use this or do I need it? Well, we're required to have homeowners insurance. The chances of something ever happening to your house, it's less than 1%. The chances of you being out of work at some point in your working life, whether it's due to a accident, a illness, or even a pregnancy, is 1 in 3. And we're going to show you to where you can protect your paycheck at less than an hour's wage a week. I'll essentially ask you this question. If you had a toaster that popped up $2,000 every month, would you insure the toaster? Absolutely you would. I'll show you how to do the same thing with a paycheck. Okay? Now, the next thing you're going to be able to look at is survivor benefits with life insurance. About 61% of Americans say they don't have any life insurance at all, or the ones that I meet with that say they do, say they don't feel like they have enough to sustain their family's lives for 2 or 3 months after something happened, much less put somebody in the ground. And the main reason I hear why people don't have anything is because they don't know where to get it, which that blows me away because it feels like it's every other TV commercial. But that's part of the problem is there are so many carriers out there, so you don't know where to begin. But another problem is there might be a CEO at some company that wants $1 million life insurance policy, and there's people lining up at the door to go see him, compared to somebody that maybe just wants $15,000, $20,000 just to set aside for burial costs. And that's where we come in because there's not too many people seeking out those individuals. All right, so now granted, everything we do is voluntary. If you want to do something great, that's fine. But if you don't, that's perfectly fine as well. But let me recommend 2 things to you. If you don't already have something in place, if you care about your family at all, look at protecting your paycheck with short-term disability and look at $15,000, $20,000 of life insurance if you don't already do something. Because one of those 2 things is going to happen. Okay. Now, as far as everything else goes, that's going to be where the holes of health insurance come into play. I normally talk about cancer, heart attack, and stroke. Cancer means a lot to me because my wife's had a scare. And the minimum cost of cancer today is $25,000 to $30,000, and that's if you have great health insurance. Because the way cancer works with health insurance is about 2/3 of cancer-related costs are not covered by health insurance, which is really scary because 1 in every 2 men are diagnosed and 1 in every 3 women. It's part of the reason why I think health insurance doesn't pick up a whole lot of those costs is because it feels like people are getting it left and right. So I would venture to say you all probably know somebody who either is currently going through it or who's been through it recently. Okay. Now, another part of that, just from a personal scenario, my wife and I, we live here in Longview. When she had her scare, we weren't going to be going to Good Shepherd for medical treatment. We had actually looked at going to MD Anderson in Houston. Well, you're out of pocket the entire time. Travel, meals, lodging, those are all things health insurance does not pick up, okay? But a cancer policy does. All right, so because you can go from a two-income family to a no-income family really quick. So something certainly to look at. Now, as far as heart attack and stroke goes, that's going to be more of a family history-related deal, all right? But those are very prevalent problems. Stroke is actually the leading cause of disability in America, and someone has a heart attack every 34 seconds in the United States. And the costs for those can range anywhere from $20,000 to $34,000 out of pocket. All right, so something certainly to look at as well for that. Another thing I would recommend looking at that you're going to be able to access is an accident policy. Recommend looking at it for one because it's the cheapest policy we have and it's probably our most used. Because when you think about going to the doctor unexpectedly and the big out-of-pocket expenses happening, it's normally due to an accident. Okay, I certainly recommend looking at it if you still have kids that are in school that play sports as well. So something certainly to look into. Now, another thing you're going to be able to look at, the very last thing, is a policy that's specifically designed to offset a medical deductible. Okay, let's say your deductible is $3,000. I know a lot of people don't have $3,000 sitting around waiting to use. Well, that's what that policy is designed to do. Is if you need to get to your deductible immediately, we will help you get there. If it's if you're admitted to the hospital at least 20 hours and you need to get there, we're going to write you a check so you can get there. All right. Now, again, if you guys all choose to do something, great. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. But make sure you guys thank Tony and the HR department for allowing us to come out. We will have a cost comparison that you guys will be able to look at a side by side of the possible savings that you would have from switching over from Aflac, or even if you don't have something, we'll be able to help you guys out as well if that's certainly the case. Now, one thing you're all going to receive is you're all going to receive a free $5,000 AD&D policy just for sitting down with us. It's basically $5,000 of free life insurance, and you all are going to receive a wellness card as well, just as a thank you for taking the time out of your day to see us. All right, and that wellness card you can use on prescriptions, dental and vision visits, along with many other things like hotels, sports tickets, and even movie tickets. Okay, we're going to be providing you guys with some packets of information with some sample rates for you to take home and discuss it with your families, because I know how decisions are made at my house. All right, so you'll be able to discuss it with your families and figure out what you may or may not want to do. All right. If you do have any questions, feel free to contact our office. Tony has our contact information. My name is Nathan Simmons. If you need to get a hold of me if you have a question. But if not, we will see you guys on the 17th. And again, thank you to Tony and the HR department for allowing us to come out. We will see you then. Thank you.